I'm Christine Robinson, and I'm the Communications Manager at the Elks National Foundation.
And I'm Kathleen Draper, the ENF's Communications Coordinator. You met Christine last Friday on the Take a Break with the ENF Facebook Live. Unfortunately, I had some technology issues, but we're here today to tell you how to take advantage of technology and social media anyway. Welcome to ENFtoYou Get Social. In the communications department, we share stories about ENF programs like our scholarship program, the HOOPSHOOT, plus how lodges use community investment programs grants. So we primarily use social media and traditional storytelling on our website to share those stories.
Today, we're going to go over all things social media. We'll share some how-tos and background about social media channels that we use and how to use them to promote your lodge and the ENF in your community.
Plus, we'll be sitting down with a special guest to talk about how she uses social media to engage with her lodge and her local community. This seminar will be posted online at enf.elks.org/ENFtoYou and right here on YouTube for you to reference at any time.
All right, Kathleen, are you ready to get social?
Let's get started.
Social media is a great way to spread the word about your lodge and all the great work that your lodge is doing in the community. Social media can help you share stories of what your lodge is doing, stories about members of your lodge, and it can help you promote ENF-related projects or even just lodge events and what the lodge community is like. By having a strong social media presence, members of your community, lodge members and non-members alike can find important information and feel connected with the lodge and its activities.
It's okay to not use social media in your personal life, and having social media for your lodge is not a requirement. But if you're looking for an easy and free way to promote your lodge, using social media is the way to go. There are a lot of different social media channels to choose from, but the four most popular and probably the most effective in reaching a large audience are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. These channels are all different, but they can all be used in the same way to share about your lodge and tell its story.
And Facebook is great for sharing longer, not too long posts with images and videos. And plus, it's a really well-established platform. So that means you can reach a lot of people through it. A lot of people have a Facebook page. And having a public Facebook page for your lodge creates a central space for members of your lodge and the community to keep up with everything going on, like events and volunteer opportunities. It's easy to share others' content on Facebook, and you can connect easily with your community partners too. Tagging them in your post is a great way to increase your reach and engagement. Facebook also lets you have a polished presence online, and it's accessible to your lodge members and community members who might want to learn more about the lodge and the charitable work that you're doing in your community.
Another really great accessible platform like Facebook is Instagram. It is the channel to have if you have great photos of lodge events or volunteer projects. It's the first and best way to tell your lodge's story visually. So sharing photos or videos of lodge events and volunteer projects or marketing materials, you can do that right on the grid, or you could live post, which is my personal favorite, through Instagram stories, which are just really fun and a way to be really creative with what you share. Using Instagram and posting photos is a really great tool to quite literally show people just what your lodge is all about. And then another social media channel that we use frequently is Twitter. It's the perfect channel for getting right to the point. So all tweets have character limits, and Twitter really encourages you to keep your messages short and sweet. It's great for posting updates, maybe a quick quote from an event, or even having like a question and answer session. You can also retweet posts from lodge members to actively engage them online, plus like and comment as well. So it's kind of similar to Facebook and Instagram in those realms too.
Kathleen, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to post on Instagram stories from the Midday Minute?
Oh, boomerangs. I love a boomerang. Boomerangs are kind of like videos, kind of like photos. I don't have a great way to describe it, but it's just kind of like a moving picture. And you can capture some really great moments. If you're familiar with the Midday Minute, you will know that for one of our episodes, I think it was for Halloween, we got a great boomerang of Jim and Debbie coming through the doors in the memorial, and it is one of my personal favorites to this day. So they're just kind of fun and a different way to share content, visual content on Instagram. So I love them.
Yeah, they are awesome. So it like loops what you do forwards and backwards, right? So like if Debbie and Jim walked through the door, it would be like this and then like this.
Perfect example, Christine. So we need to get a boomerang of that.
That's right. Maybe one will show up on our Instagram stories after this is over.
So true.
So in addition to Instagram and Twitter, there's of course YouTube, which is where we are right now. The foundation, we use YouTube to share all of the films that we have that are highlighted in our programs, and we have a ton. So we have a film series dedicated to the Elks Scholar Service Trips, the MVS Top 20 Scholars. In the past, that was the Future Looks Like series, and this year we adapted it to 20 for 20. We have the Gridio series, which features Elks HOOPSHOOT national finalists, and that's a video about grit, since the HOOPSHOOT helps develop grit. And we have a series featuring the Elks National Veterans Service Commission. In addition to that, we have the Midday Minute, which is a currently weekly ENF talk show hosted by director Jim O'Kelly and assistant director Debbie Doles. And during that, I'm sure you're viewing that a lot. We know that a lot of the people that are here today are also viewers of the Midday Minute, but Jim and Debbie use that as a way to connect with each other and with you virtually and share what's going on with the foundation weekly. And a lot of breaking news is shared for the first time there. So it's a great spot to get tons of information. And then that's transferable for sharing within your lodge. So it's easy to share content from the ENF's YouTube channel. It's just a click of the little arrow that says share. So you click the share button, and then when you do that, a screen pops up, and on that screen there's a copy option. And so if you click copy, you can have the exact code for that video, and then it'll take people to the video. They'll be able to watch the same video that you've just watched, and they can share it with their friends or other members of the lodge as well. And we've included a graphic here that shows exactly how to do that, but if you have any questions, that's a great question for you to comment.
And like we mentioned before, having a social media channel isn't a requirement for successful lodges, but a lot of successful lodges across the country use social media to share not just about lodge events and opportunities and, you know, all the fun things that you do all together as members, but also to share about the work that they do through ENF grants. So one lodge is Saratoga Wilton, New York, lodge number 161. I actually wrote about their impact grant project, which is the Seniors in Need Food Delivery Program. And that was the first story that I ever wrote when I started at the ENF almost a year ago. It's almost my 1 year Elkiversary. So yeah, Saratoga Wilton, I wrote about them last fall, and they just have a special place in my heart because it was one of the first stories I ever wrote. And I've been following the lodge's Facebook page ever since. And they actually have a Facebook page completely dedicated to the Impact Grant Project on top of their lodge page. So it's a great spot for them to share about the Impact Grant Project and things like that. So the lodge's exalted ruler at the time of the project's launch and the former New York Northeast District Public Relations Editor, Deborah McCabe-Reedy, she launched the Saratoga Wilton Facebook page and then also helped with the page that's dedicated to that project. So Deborah is actually joining us today to share more about how she's leveraged social media to effectively share her lodge's stories.
Welcome to ENFtoYou Get Social, Deborah. It's so great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Normally we would be together at convention right now or on our way home, but it's so great to see you here and talk social media with you. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to chat with you today, especially about a former role that you were in. You said you recently retired from this position in June, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and so how did you become involved as the New York Northeast District Empire State Elks District Editor and District PR Chair?
Well, that's a good question. It started quite a while ago. Back in 2011, 2012, one of the members asked me to start doing public relations for my lodge because I love photography and I was around, wanted to get more involved. I was a new member, and so I was happy to do it. And over the course of time, I was asked to do it for my district. So that's how I became a district chairperson and a district editor.
Cool. And what exactly did you do in that role?
In that role, everybody would send me their articles that needed to be submitted to the state for either online publication or in our printed publication. We have a state magazine. Everything got posted on Facebook. We used to have a competition. Who could send in the most submissions? Our district came in first place the 2 years that I was doing it. The last year I lost by 1 submission, but it was really just a fun thing, and you really knew what was going on in your district because everything came into your inbox that was happening in your district for all the lodges. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool that you're able to do that. And was this a lot of digital newsletters or a lot of printed ones? And did you have any experience doing this before you took on that role, or did you just kind of dive in head first?
Just dove right in. Loved it.
I love that. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome that you had that connection to photography. And eventually I was going to ask about this, but I'll just ask right now. So we love all of the photos that you've shared throughout of the Saratoga Wilton projects that are happening, and we would like to get your advice for taking a great photo. We know the difference between a great photo and an okay photo can really tell a story. So can you give us a few tips on that and pointers for Elks who are trying to do the same?
Absolutely, I'd love to. The main thing when you're doing a photo for an article that you're going to be submitting, it's really important to engage who you're working with. Like with our impact grant, it's for seniors in need. So it's really great to have a senior citizen with their bag of goodies that they're getting. If it's a veteran, that if you're doing a welcome home kit, that you have them out shopping with them. That's really important. It's good to make sure that the photo is very clear. So clean your screen if you're using a phone. It's a simple thing, but it really makes a difference. And also try to limit it to like 5 people at the most. And that makes it more engaging, especially if it's 1 or 2 people instead of like, I know we'd love to do group photos and those are great for Facebook, but when you want to do things that you want to send to the national magazine, you want to have max 10 people. So even 5 is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know we've used in our publications in Heartbeat, I know we've used some of those photos. So that is a great point about limiting the amount of people, because then you can really capture what exactly the project is doing rather than the group. Like you said, the group shots are great, but sometimes they just are big and it's a lot of people to identify, and it gets a message across, but definitely those captivating ones are great too.
They are. They're more personable, I think. So yeah.
So why did you decide to start the Facebook page for the Saratoga Wilton Lodge?
Oh, well, Facebook was still new back then. I think, how long has it been in? It was very new. And I saw other lodges were starting to do it. So I just did it. And I didn't really ask anybody to do it. I just did it. And it was funny because it took so long. It seemed like the first year I was like, oh, can we please get to 200 followers, And now when I look at the page, we have over 1,300 people following our page. So I just knew that social media was going to be a really key element for us to promote what we're doing and for people to see what we're doing.
That's awesome. I mean, 1,300, I'm guessing that's more members than the lodge.
It is. We have under 500, yeah.
Wow. So you have a lot of kind of community members who follow along with the Facebook page and what the lodge is doing and the types of events you have?
Yeah, we do. And I think a lot of other members that are Elks follow us to see what we're doing. And yeah, there are a lot of politicians that actually follow us. And so it's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. You hit both of the questions I was going to ask about. What goals did you have in mind and how did you see it grow? But in addition to just like getting the lodge projects out there, did you have any other goals in mind when you started the page?
Well, I remember going to a convention years ago. I can't remember what year it was. I think I might have been Loyal Knight. But anyway, I attended a seminar from Rick Gathan, and it was membership and marketing. And his thing was be loud, be proud, be visible. And that has stuck with me through my life. He's the one that has inspired me to do more with the public relations. And that's why I was so excited to become a district public relations chairperson. But
what goals did you have in mind? If there was anything specific that you're hoping to do with the Facebook page?
Well, one of the things that we really wanted to try to accomplish with the Facebook page, especially for our impact grant, is to get the knowledge out there that there really is a huge need for our seniors having problems getting food. You know, they have to choose either between medicine or food, and they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And we would like to see this grant duplicated in other lodges, or at least the program started, and maybe that they can possibly get the same grant.
Mm-hmm.
So can you speak up to the Facebook group that's been started, that Ben Buffa and you worked on together to start, and how that's spreading the word about the seniors project?
Well, Ben has talked about it at our state convention, and I think that was in the fall 2 years ago, or maybe it was the spring, I can't remember. But the Glens Falls Lodge, who our state president, Brian Green, was from this past year, they've started the program, but they started it just as the coronavirus was starting. So it's kind of on hold right now. Mm-hmm. And we did have another lodge actually down here in Florida that was interested in starting as well, but I haven't heard anything about it yet. So, but that's the thing, it's just spreading the word, and social media is the way to do it.
Definitely. And is there anything that inspires you when you post on social media, or inspires you about using it, or do you even seek inspiration from other channels too?
I do enjoy seeing what other people share on Facebook. I love the ENF page a lot because
yay.
I don't want to cry, but seeing some of the scholars and what they're doing, and also some of the other projects that the lodges are using with their grants, is really inspiring to me. And it makes me so proud to be an Elk, and makes me want to work hard. Even though I don't get paid for this, I'm a volunteer, it doesn't even matter. I just love what the Elks do. And the Elks National Foundation makes it so possible for us to do that.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. That is a huge compliment on our end, but it is really, it's so inspiring to, on the other side of it, to post about those stories. And I keep saying this, but meeting the scholars this year for the first time was like the highlight of the past 6 months of my year and my quarantine and everything, just to be able to hear their stories and talk to them. So it's really exciting to be able to share those types of stories and encourage everybody out there to get involved and just see all the great things that Elks are doing across the country.
It is pretty awesome.
there's a lot of awesome stuff. There's almost too much to choose from. I mean,
I know. Yeah, there is.
When the pandemic started and Elks have just risen to the occasion again and again and stepped up to be there for their communities, we've literally had too many amazing things to share about. We just don't have enough hours in the day to cover all the awesome stuff that Elks are doing. So it's really, it's exciting to see it on Facebook and Instagram too.
I love what you said, Deborah, about just like being inspired by what you're seeing on social media, because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to share how Elks can help build stronger communities through the various different ways that they can do that. And we are in the very fortunate position to say, here's all of the great stuff that's happening and pushing it out there for our people to share and be inspired. And so I love that you have that community, Deborah, with other Elks who aren't necessarily in your lodge, and just inspiring each other to keep doing the great work. So what tips do you have for someone who maybe is in the same position that you were in 2010, starting a Facebook or growing a Facebook's for a lodge's presence on social media? What tips would you give your fellow Elks who want to do the same?
I would make sure that you want to promote only the things that you want to promote. Follow your guidelines for public relations, number one. 2, post all those good things, tag the people that are in the photos. That's really important. Also, like your own post, send it to your lodge, or not to your lodge, but just share with everybody that you possibly can on social media. I know, even if you're trying to promote a dinner, you know, find the other pages that are in your area that, like Saratoga Now and Then, you know, I have like 7 different pages that I share. Maybe that's not what you're really asking in this question, but just use the people as much as you can in your lodge to be a public relations person as well. And like for me, I live in Florida and my lodge is in New York, so I'm constantly saying, please take a photo and send it to me. Send me a quick little write-up with it, and let's get it out there. So even during this coronavirus, we can still do that. I know a lot of lodges aren't open. Some are, you know, they're in different stages. So that's another way that you can get something on your Facebook page for your lodge and share it. And the members just love seeing stuff. So I don't know.
That's a really good point about COVID. How has social media helped your lodge continue to connect with each other in terms of the members and also with your community when you're not able to be together in person?
Well, it was pretty slow in the beginning because I think people were still trying to figure out, you know, what's going on.
Yeah.
What are we going to do, you know? And really, I know we were able to have, at least at my lodge, we were able to have some people come in and do some cleaning and renovations and stuff and prepare, hoping that we were going to open up sooner. So that was a good way to communicate, because we normally send a newsletter out that's printed and mailed, and we haven't done that in several months. So Facebook and email has been the way to communicate with our members. And it's unfortunate if they're not on a computer, period, you know, even if they don't have Facebook, you know, if they don't have an email, it's hard to communicate. So, but people share this way, and I see a lot of people that like the posts that I make on our lodge page. So I know at least it's getting out there.
Yeah, that's become really important in even just in terms of like your personal life, being able to share with family and friends when you can't be there together. So when you have a family like the Elks and within your lodge community, that's exactly the same, to be able to connect with them through social media. So that's really awesome that you were able to kind of take your skills and transition your normal communication into a digital atmosphere. So that's really awesome that you were able to do that.
Yeah, it is pretty great. I know I do the Facebook page for the Jacksonville Lodge as well. And the Exalted Ruler, they had some email stuff going on, couldn't for whatever reason, it wouldn't work. So we would send blasts out, you know, on the Facebook page. So it was great. And it was a way too to reach out to the members and say, hey, do you guys, are you okay? Do you need anything? Can we bring anything for you? You know, do you need any supplies? Especially because a lot of our members are older and aren't going out. So it was a nice way to reach out to our members and say, we're here for you.
That speaks to a topic of discussion that Jim O'Kelly, the director of the Elks National Foundation, covered in a blog series called Stay Safe, Be Relevant. And he was talking about how during this time, lodges can kind of pivot to online community and how different lodges have done that. So it's really great to hear that you've been able to help out the Jacksonville Lodge as well, and to have that presence exist online and kind of bring everyone together the best way possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you moved to Florida 2 years ago, and you've maintained membership at the Saratoga Wilton Lodge, but you also help out, like you mentioned, at the Jacksonville Lodge. Can you talk about what it's been like to help another lodge with their social media presence?
It's been great. I enjoy doing it. It's why I still do it in Saratoga, although also the ER is my best friend, Jerry Comboy. So, but the people in Jacksonville are like my second family now, because living here, you know, I came to only my husband, so I had nobody else. So it gives me a good feeling that I can help them out, at least doing that. So.
And it's so wonderful, and really speaks to the Elks that you were able to move to a completely different city and just have a whole other family waiting there for you at the Elks Lodge. So that's really awesome. I think that, again, speaks to a lot about what the Elks are all about and that sense of community.
It does. It does. That's the thing. It's like you can go to any lodge in the United States and they're going to open their arms up to you and welcome you.
Yeah.
So,
but I was also going to say that the Elks scholars talk so much about that Elks family being really a network across the country, and how they've been able to connect, you know, digitally with Zoom trivia nights and Zoom information meetups. So it's great to hear that parallel that what the Elks are experiencing and Elks scholars are also experiencing, and that it just really kind of transcends all groups for the Elks.
mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Deborah, and sharing all of your tips and tricks for using social media to connect your lodge, not only in its own community there, but also with the community around you. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us today. Have a great day. Bye, Deborah.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Deborah.
Thanks. It's so great to hear from Elks like Deborah, who work so hard to connect their community, even from across the country, like she does from Jacksonville to New York.
It really is. Plus, Deborah's efforts have had a huge payoff besides that connection. So the lodge was able to see an increased interest in membership after the publicity that surrounded the lodge's Facebook page and then their impact grant project. So using social media can put a spotlight on projects like that and can help gain publicity, which is a really great way to be involved with the SIP program, and a really great benefit of the SIP program.
Yeah, and Deborah, to gain that publicity, she is really strategic about how she uses social media. She shares lodge events and opportunities, not just in the lodge Facebook group, but in different groups throughout her community. And she tags all the community partners in her posts. If you head to the Saratoga Wilton, New York Facebook page for their impact grant project, you'll see that they tag all of their community partners in their posts, who can then share those posts on their own timelines. So that brings their lodge's work to a whole new audience that they might not have had otherwise.
So speaking of tagging, another good strategy is to use a hashtag. So you may know a hashtag as a £, a number sign, or an octothorpe.
I have never known that it is also called an octothorpe. And do you know why that is?
I feel like maybe, okay, octo is 8, so maybe it has eight sections, but I'm looking at a hashtag right now and that doesn't seem right.
Doesn't
So,
add up. I think it's
yeah.
nice. So I feel maybe it's with the lines, something, but if you know, comment below and tell us why it's called an octothorpe, because that is a really good trivia fact that we could put to use.
Yeah.
So we use a lot of different hashtags for octothorpes here at the ENF, like
Hashtag Elks family.
hashtag Elks always care,
Hashtag HOOPSHOOT.
hashtag ENF midday,
Hashtag hamper HOOPSHOOT.
and last but not least, hashtag ENFtoYou.
Hashtag serve as content labels and connect your messages to a specific topic, event, theme, or conversation. Plus, it's easy to find posts that relate to that topic or theme with a hashtag. So to properly use a hashtag, you must make sure that spelling is correct, it's consistent every time you use it, and there are no spaces between words. It acts as a link. So you want to make sure that it is all together so the link can stay together.
And one of our most popular hashtags, for example, is hashtag Elks family. It is probably the most widespread and consistent one that we use. It's what we use when we post about Elks scholars. So if you search hashtag Elks family on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, even YouTube, or if you just go onto Google and type in the search bar hashtag Elks family, you'll find tons of posts generated by the ENF and also by Elks scholars about the scholarships that we offer, their time on the scholar service trips, and more scholarship related opportunities, or even meetups that they take part in. So that's probably our best example of a really awesome hashtag and a great way to use it.
And to demonstrate the importance of a hashtag, if you search Elks family without the hashtag, you'll get this, which is just pictures of deer because they are elks and family. And I think Google was a little bit confused, but you want to make sure. What did you say?
They're cute, so.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you're using that hashtag in your posts to generate the same effect. So if you write just Elks family without the hashtag, it can still make sense in the sentence, and we'll do that sometimes, but we also always make sure that we're using hashtag Elks family if we want to refer to anything related to scholars or the broader Elks family. So if you search hashtag ENFtoYou, you'll find posts about the ENFtoYou summer series, including the seminar. So now's your chance to use hashtag ENFtoYou to win a $500 donation to the nonprofit of your choice. So how to do this? Comment below with your favorite social media platform and tell us why you love it so much, and hashtag ENFtoYou to be entered to win. So make sure you comment with your platform, why you love it, and hashtag ENFtoYou. And we will be able to draw winners from that. A winner from that.
Yes, one winner, but we wish it could be multiple, but one winner. So good luck, everybody. And while you're all commenting, we'll tell you a little bit more about hashtags and some other great things to use to really make your social media as effective as possible. So hashtags offer a really easy way for people to connect with content around a certain topic, theme, or event, and it's a way for them to engage directly with you. So when the pandemic started, we launched a new social media campaign called hashtag Elks Always Care, and lodges used hashtag Elks Always Care to share how they were responding to the pandemic. And that was with or without ENF grants. So it really helped us find content from those lodges. And then we shared their efforts with our followers on Facebook and Instagram. So if a lodge used the hashtag Elks Always Care in their post talking about how they created a soup kitchen out of their lodge, which I think the Somerville Elks did, a lodge in New Jersey did that actually. If you posted hashtag Elks Always Care, we were checking that regularly. We would see the post even if you didn't tag the ENF, and we would be able to share that on our channel and share the awesome work that those lodges are doing and then inspire other people to do the same thing. So make sure you use hashtags, especially if the ENF launches a specific campaign or series. They're a great way for us to get to notice that and be able to share what you do.
Exactly. And shout out to McKenna Cannon, the youth programs associate. She manages the HOOPSHOOT, and she came up with the Elks Always Care hashtag. We knew we wanted to do this storytelling effort about how lodges were responding to COVID, and we made a call to staff to help us come up with a creative hashtag. And that's something that you can do with members of your lodge too, if you want to generate your own hashtag. But we would love it if you used all of our hashtags on your stories.
Yeah, because we want to see everything that you are doing and be able to take part in sharing that story.
Exactly. So another super easy way to create engaging content that conveys emotion that lodge members and folks in your community will love to share is by taking great photos. So there's research that has shown that posts on Facebook will get 2.3 more times engagement than posts without. So that engagement includes more likes, comments, shares, and clicks on the links in the post.
So when we share about lodge programs and projects on the ENF's various channels, photos are a big deal. They center the whole post, and we always encourage lodges to take a lot of photos at grant project events or other aspects with their scholars, if Elks scholars come to visit the lodge, things like that. So the better the photos, the more likely your lodge will be featured by us, because we care a lot about being able to share that visual aspect of your story. So Deborah actually shared some awesome tips, like limiting the number of people in the photo. 5 or less is best for the most engaging photos, and keeping your camera lens, even if it's just your phone's camera, which is what I use, very clean. So just with a little lens cloth, something that you might use if you have glasses. And there are a lot of easy ways to take amazing photos on your phone, and we're going to share some of those tips with you.
Yeah, and Kathleen, that's a great point. Your phone, a lot of people have smartphones. Your phone is also a camera in many instances, so you can capture moments as they're taking place, because most people go everywhere with their phones. So if you have it on you, you can start capturing what your lodge is doing with the photos. So a couple of tips. Don't zoom in on your camera screen. Just walk a few steps closer to the subject of the photo, and you'll get more detail to come through in that picture. You know, be mindful of whatever social distancing guidelines are still in place within your communities. If you can't be too close to people, of course we understand, use Zoom if you need to, but avoid it if possible.
Exactly. And another great way to make sure your photos are really balanced and really clear and detailed is to actually use the grid lines. So if you have a smartphone, you can turn on the grid lines on your camera, and basically they just help you to take a really balanced and symmetrical photo. So you simply line up your subjects where the lines intersect. So there'll be 2 lines this way and 2 lines horizontally. And then you can line your subjects up at those intersection points, and you're set to go. And you can figure out how to turn on the grid lines on your phone just with a quick Google search. It's usually right in your camera, but that's a pretty surefire way to make sure that your photo is straight and balanced and takes advantage of the empty space and isn't too crowded.
And another useful tip is to make sure that you're getting candid shots when possible. And sometimes you might need to stage them a little bit, but you can do a candid shot that shows what the project is about. And it does. Group shots are great because they show so many people, but they're hard to identify people. They're hard to caption. So we prefer to use shots that are candid, or like Kathleen and Deborah mentioned, fewer people in them. And then another thing is don't put a filter on your photos. If you're comfortable, you can use settings within your camera phone app that will allow you to adjust brightness and things of that nature. But if you add a filter to your photo, you're going to possibly reduce the clarity of the photo, and then it's less likely that we'll be able to use it if we want to share and promote what your lodge is doing, which of course we want to do. So, and also Snapchat filters and Instagram filters are adorable. They're great. They're just not great for our social media purposes. So for the most part, we also avoid those. And the clearer the photo, the better.
And then one way to get a really good photo is to take your photos horizontally, so holding your phone the long way, and you can capture more and take advantage of negative space. So that's spots in your photo where nothing is there. So kind of like the spots behind me right now. So that negative space helps to make your photo more balanced and have a better, I guess, composure to it. And just make sure you have permission from your subjects, especially if they are recipients or participants in grant projects. You can either verbally ask their permission and ask if it's okay to take their photo and be able to share it on your lodge's social media, or you can have a photo release that people can sign ahead of the event that gives permission to you to take photos throughout. So if you have a big event, that's probably the easier way to do it, so you don't have to keep asking people. But yeah, make sure you have permission, because not everybody wants to be photographed, and we obviously need to be respectful of that. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're out shooting at your lodge projects or your lodge events.
And another option is if people seem in the least hesitant to have their photos taken and you get the sense that they don't want that to happen, then you could ask if they would be okay with the photo taken from behind or something that wouldn't reveal their identity. And you can do that by focusing the picture on the volunteers who are involved in that project. So you could just stand behind the person and capture the your Elks members' faces, and that would be a good option too. And if not, then it's okay. There's plenty of things that you can take photos of that capture the project without necessarily capturing people who are uncomfortable being on pictures. All right, so we're going to show you some examples of posts that you can share or duplicate in your lodge. So first is a Facebook sample. This is an example of a post that we shared in April to announce the top 6 winners and the top 2 MVS winners as well. So in this post, we made sure that we tagged the lodges who were sponsoring the scholars. So that would be like the equivalent of tagging a community partner. And then we made sure that we used hashtag Elks Family with no spaces. And we kind of had a call to action here, which was we congratulated everyone, and through that people felt inspired to also congratulate all of the top winners. So an example of how you could duplicate this sort of post in your lodge would be to use a community investments program grant that your lodge is doing, and you could take that, share a photo of it, and talk about what the grant did or what members of your lodge did, and make sure that when you're speaking about that, you're tagging the partner organization. So we know so many Elks work with community partners to achieve a broader reach for their grant projects, and so that broader reach can also be found online. So you can attempt to leverage your partner organization's social media audience as well by tagging them. And then make sure you use a hashtag and that you have a call to action. And you can also be sure to include a tag of the Elks National Foundation if it's a post that would be relevant to our programs. So that would be a great way to take what we've done here and duplicate it on your Facebook, on your lodge's Facebook, and hopefully have a similar engagement. And don't forget the call to action.
Yep. So it could even just be like, comment below if you volunteered at the grant project or something like that, just to get people to engage with it, which also helps your post to get a different reach. So we also have an example post from Instagram, and this was part of our Elks Always Care campaign. So as you can see here, it's a really great, clear photo. It's a person who's in action. It's heartwarming. She has the sign that says thank you. And this was part of a food drive on Mother's Day. So when we created this post, there was a really great quote that was included with their summary of the event. So I went and I made that quote the caption, just because it was really engaging and it really captured what the project was all about. So to duplicate this post, definitely tag the foundation. If you're on Instagram, we are at Elks in Action. Use a hashtag if we're like for this part of the campaign, like we mentioned before, it was hashtag Elks Always Care, and lodges could use that hashtag to get their posts to us essentially. so we could share those as well. So if you're posting something that's part of one of our campaigns, use the hashtag and take advantage of good opportunities using the photo tips that we shared. This one was shot horizontally. It was just the way we put it in the frame we created. It looks like it was vertical, but yeah, shoot horizontally. That photo is really balanced. There's a clear focus of the subject. She's obviously in action and doing something, and there's a little bit of empty space behind her. So that's a really great way to take a photo and to share that on Instagram.
And it's literally heartwarming. It's such a great photo. When we saw that, we were like, this is perfect for Instagram. I think we also shared on Facebook. We put it in Heartbeat, our printed publications.
Photo is everywhere. So if you take really great photos, they will be everywhere for us, because if we love something, we want to share it all the time.
Exactly. So another example is using Twitter. So we talked about earlier to make tweets short, sweet, and to the point. There's a character limit that helps you make that happen. And we love to use Twitter during live events. And also, it doesn't necessarily have to be an in-person event. You could tweet this, which we are doing. So you could tweet a video presentation, or you could tweet a virtual event that you go to. But when you're able to do the in-person activities, it's really great to cover it on Twitter with, like Kathleen mentioned in the Instagram post, quotes. And then Twitter, you can use images, but you don't need to. I love pictures. I love taking photos, so I will use them. So this is a tweet that I made at the 2019 HOOPSHOOT National Finals, and I took a picture of Madigan Moore. She's a member of the HOOPSHOOT alumni board, aka the backboard, and she was talking about how the HOOPSHOOT set her up for some really great lessons. And so I tweeted that and shared it. And this engagement level isn't super high, but our Twitter following is much lower. And this is from my Elks Twitter, not the foundation's Twitter. So yeah, this is just another example of how you can bring people into the event that you're having and let them experience it from a distance, or, you know, if they're not able to go to the event in person. And you can rapid fire tweet. So you can, as something is happening, you can just tweet about it. If you've ever paid attention to our Twitter during the HOOPSHOOT National Finals, Jim O'Kelly loves to tweet during that. So he'll just be giving you a play-by-play of what's happening during the finals. So it's a great option as well.
Yeah, and Twitter is a really great place if you want to do a play-by-play of an event. And Christine and I both have Elks Twitters where we tweet about things about the Elks National Foundation, share things that the ENF tweets or post on Facebook. So you can follow us both. Christine is at Elks Christine, and I am at Elks Kathleen. So you can find us there and follow our Twitter and just keep up with some of the things that we're really enjoying of the content that we're sharing through the ENF. And that brings us to YouTube. So we talk a lot about YouTube. YouTube is what we've been using a lot during the pandemic because it's a great way to connect and share what we've been up to. And one of the big ways that we've been doing that is through the Midday Minute. So the Midday Minute is Jim and Debbie's talk show. They share breaking news, lots of jokes. It's always a lot of fun to film. And right now they're doing it through Zoom. So YouTube is a video medium. It's a film series or individual. So shown here is a screen grab from the show, which is how we kicked off the ENFtoYou summer series. So that's a little bit different maybe from the Midday Minute, and I'll kind of tell you why. And then these videos are also shareable, and they're really interactive because you can call on people to comment during the video or after. So during the show, it was a live premiere. So we were able to have a live chat where people could participate in the chat and talk to each other and kind of chat as it was going and as the show unfolded. So that was really cool to use, and that's not something that you'll see on every YouTube video. It was just because it was the premiere. But on other YouTube videos, you have the chance to comment, which is where the one arrow is pointing right below the description of the video. So for the Midday Minute, we have a comment contest, if you haven't heard, where every episode, Jim and Debbie tell you to comment on the video with the hashtag ENFMidday, which is one of the ones we shared. And they'll give you a question or ask you to comment about something specific. You have the chance to win a $50 soft credit donation to the ENF program of your choice. So comments are a really great way to engage. Jim will personally respond to you. Debbie will as well. We respond. So some good tips if you are posting videos on YouTube. Make sure that you respond to all the comments. Make sure that you engage with the people who are watching your videos. That's something that we try to do, and occasionally we might miss one in the shuffle, but we try to respond to everybody's comments on the YouTube videos. And then make sure that your video is of good quality and has good audio. So a great way to do that is just to have a test run before you start filming. Typically, when we film the Midday Minute, we do a test run where we just check all our audio and our video quality and make sure that it is up to par. And then just make sure you share your videos. You can share them right from the channel or the page like Christine showed before. And with that, you can share them directly to your other social media channels, which will guide your followers or subscribers to YouTube. And also encourage people to subscribe, because when you post new content, people will be notified. So when we went live, our subscribers got a notification that the ENF went live today for the Get Social seminar. When we post a new video, next week's Midday Minute, they will also receive a notification about that. And it just helps you to engage with us a little bit more. So I think that brings us to the end of our social media, Christine.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say one more thing about YouTube and videos. Yeah. So we are producing a ton of awesome content, if we can say that about our content. It's really heartwarming, tells stories about all of the program recipients or all of our different programs, not every program recipient. We can't quite reach everyone, but we try to share stories that we think will be meaningful to lodges across the country and will really capture what the program is about. And then we would encourage you to share that as well on your platforms. I think our YouTube videos will be a nice thing that are easily shareable. And you can also share them from Facebook. We share everything that we share on YouTube on our Facebook page, so you can just go ahead and share those posts as well. And then make sure you're subscribing to our channel as well.
Yeah, and the great thing about sharing videos is that they tell the story for you. So obviously photos are amazing, and having a great quote or a great post that's written out is amazing and really helps reach people and tell your story. But if you are looking for the easiest way possible, having a video really kind of checks all the boxes and sharing that story. It puts faces to the names, it lets people connect with you, and it does convey a lot of emotion. So like Christine just mentioned, like I mentioned before, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, but you can also follow our other social media channels here. We have a lot of social media, but we linked the top 4 in this presentation, so just head to those links, and then you can follow us and keep up with all of our content all the time.
Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. I can't wait to see how all of the comments come through, and the live chat reviewing that will be so awesome. So we are so glad that you joined us today. And thank you for watching the second installment of the summer series. This will be back in a few weeks, the week of July 26th, with Jim O'Kelly and Debbie Doles. And Jim and Debbie are planning to interview outgoing National President Bob Dutzman and the incoming National President Paul Ryan. So definitely a show that you need to check out. Tune in. We'll make sure that we post all of those details to our social media networks, and we'll also be sending email notifications.
Yeah, so if you want to receive updates about the ENFtoYou summer series, check out the schedule and what's coming up, head to enf.elks.org/ENFtoYou. You can register right there, and once you're registered, you'll receive a digital swag bag filled with photos that you can share right on Facebook, so you can put your knowledge from today to use. And then you'll also receive updated digital swag for every session that we have. So this session, we had some cool infographics. So to get access to that, make sure you register. We also have a raffle with our registrants for ENF prizes. So I think Lynn Rutherford Snow won for the show. So we'll be giving out another ENF prize for this one. So yeah, head there, register. You'll get emails and updates along those lines. So check it out.
If you have any other questions that we didn't get to, we tried to answer them all, but if you have more, please let us know. We are happy to answer those. You can tweet us or you can email us and we will be able to respond to those. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.